Brother Cody's going first. Cody's got the first question. All right.
I suppose my question would be is, what are some of the ways that we can better deal with frustrating situations or that we may possibly run into, and be able to gently shine Jesus' light in that situation?
Cody. Come on. Isn't that a great question, guys? Come on. Cody, thank you also, because I know that takes courage to get up and ask the first question. So, and I think this is a pertinent question for all of us, because I think a lot of us, we're all going to deal with frustrations. And you know, when I look at frustrations are also the onset to anger. I don't know if you ever noticed that when you get frustrated about something, oftentimes it leads to anger. And really, when we think about frustrations, Cody, just to get to your question here, frustrations are often really the idea of unmet expectations. Why do we get frustrated by certain situations? It's because we have an expectation of how situations should go, and it doesn't turn out the way we think it's going to turn out. And so we all get frustrated by that, and then in turn we get angry. And so, Cody, just to answer your question, I think James 1:19-20 applies here, where it says, be slow to speak, quick to listen, and slow to anger. For the anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God. Right? That application has carried me, and I hope it carries you for the rest of your life, everyone, because in situations like this, just speaking very practically, what I would say for us to do is, and I've done this in marriage, I've done this in relationships, where I've just said, hey, we're a little hot right here. We're not in agreement. Why don't we just take a moment and get away from the situation? Because I think for a lot of us, when we're in a situation that's being frustrated, we get very emotional. And oftentimes we can't think in sober-mindedness. The best thing to do when frustrated is to get away from the situation, if you can. Even if it's a few minutes, and take some time to pray. And especially for me, when I get frustrated about a situation, what I do is I take some time away, maybe it's an hour, and say, hey, I just want to pause this conversation and come back to it, but I just need to spend some time praying. And in those times of prayer, what I oftentimes do is I take the application of Matthew 7, where Jesus says, before you look at the plank in speck in your brother's eye, look at the plank in your own. And what I do is, in the situations like that, is say, Lord, is there any ways I have sinned in this situation? If there's anything I've done to this person that caused them to be angry with me? Or is there something I've done in this situation that's not been pleasing to you? Because what that does in that situation is you're allowing yourself to see beyond just the natural situation. You're saying, is there anything I've done in my life? God, examine my heart. And David says this in Psalm 139, search my heart, O Lord. If you find any wicked way in me, God, search it, cleanse me, clean it out of me, right? And then in that situation also, what I do is I begin to pray for the person, or pray about the situation, Cody, and I begin to say, Lord, what's that person going through? Trying to see what that person's actually may be dealing with. That person may be having a terrible day. That person may be going through different spiritual influences that we don't even understand. And so as we begin to pray, it gives us a heart for the person that we're frustrated by, Cody, or the circumstances. You're like, Lord, what's going on here? Show me, Father, what's on your heart. And in that, as you're praying, as you're taking heed in your own heart, as you're thinking beyond yourself, Cody, it allows you to see clearly. That would be my answer to you very practically. How do you deal with frustrations? I believe that's the way, in maturity, to deal with frustrations. You're thinking about not just yourself, you're praying about the situation. And so that's how I would answer that question, Cody. Is that helpful? Okay, praise the Lord. Thank you, Cody. Appreciate that question.